Hey, what's up, everyone? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and today, on your Monday, we got another market report. This time for the week ending May 10th, 2021. And I'm happy to say, after a few weeks of kind of like a lower, active market, especially on great collections, I think we're back in business. We have 15 coins that we're going to talk about today, all absolutely monstrous coins. A few very high mintage coins too. We're going to talk about that and how you, as maybe an owner of some of these coins already, we're going to talk about the telltale signs that may apply to whether or not you have a very valuable coin. You'll be shocked by some of the results of the coins today. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the Monday Market Report, it's real simple. Every week, we take a look at the most relevant post-1900, what I consider to be modern coins that have sold in a 7-day period. And all the coins are generally graded, so they're either going to be encapsulated in a PCGS holder, an NGC, Annex maybe. You can find any one of those represented on here. And the big idea is we take a look at the market. How healthy is it? What are people paying a lot of money for? What is kind of like this week in, week out trend? Because we've seen certain weeks where collectors and investors and graded coin enthusiasts will tend to look at certain types of maybe denominations, or perhaps they're looking at coins that are more recent, like post 1950 or 1960 and all the way up to the current date. And then on certain weeks, you see them kind of go back into more of the obsolete coins. So, being able to gauge exactly where the market is heading will help each and every single one of you determine if you want to sell. All right. A lot of people have varying grades of coins that fit in this modern era. So kind of deciphering when a good time is to sell maybe that extra coin that you have, or, perhaps you've sent a bunch of coins to PCGS and you have a few of them that really cut the mustard for the secondary market that, being able to kind of speculate and foresee the future of how your coins would do in the current market will certainly help you get the most for your money. So this week, we have 15 coins, all in great collections. We have a couple new provenances on here, along with a few sunset collection pieces that are going to be talked about. But all in all, I'm impressed with just the overall depth of coins, ranging from the early 1900s all the way up to the late 1900s. And you guys will be impressed with what is offered this past week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first coin. And I figure we're just going to go ahead and just, do it at the absolute most beastliest coin that I could think of. A 1955 doubled die obverse Lincoln wheat cent is, of course, a staple in any type set. And if you're a variety person, this is probably one that's high and mighty on your list. So what do we have here? Well, we have a coin that grades out PCGS Mid-State 64 Brown. You guys affectionately know this one as being the FS 101. This is the big dog in the Lincoln Cent series and probably in U.S. coins in general. This is not only a statement piece, but it is unmistakably the kind of poster child of what a doubled die is. Now this one right here is also CAC certified, and the grade is really nice. So I'm really digging the kind of like the brown patina, the oxidation is real nice on this example. This one sold for $4,731.75. The market is just incredibly strong, and we are going to continue to see just amazing numbers, I would say, throughout the rest of the summer and into the fall. So the first I would consider to be like high mintage coin that's going to get a lot of looks is going to be this one right here. It's a 1943D Lincoln wheat cent. By its silvery appearance, you guys know this one as the one-off zinc-coated steel penny. All right, it's unique in a way that is a one-shot, one-year only coin in which it features a completely different composition than what you're used to seeing. And even to this day, these coins are highly regarded and highly sought after in just about every condition. More mint state grades than anything else, but this is a incredible graded coin. Just take a look at the stats there. PCGS Mint State 68 Plus, CAC certified. This is a top-end grade right here. I'm happy to say it sold for $16,875. We continue to see these Mint State 68s and 68 Pluses just absolutely pound the market with such sauce. I mean, you know, it's going to be a coin that will live on in infamy as being one that is going to continually go up in price. It doesn't matter how many's out there in the pops. As far as the overall coin itself, I mean, a few 100 million of these were made. So they're out there still to this day in mint state grades. A lot of raw examples that can be purchased and subsequently sent to the graders in the hopes of maybe a 68 or a 68 plus. Truly magnificent example right here. All right, so we're getting a little bit more tougher as far as availability in Lincoln cents goes, especially in mint state condition. A 1927 of any type, whether it's a P, D, or S, certainly fits that mold. Now we have a Denver minted example right here. Overall, it's a Mint State 66 Plus red-brown, so it's got a really nice surface to it. Very well struck too, which is kind of not exactly the typical for a mid-20s Lincoln cent, whether it's a Denver or a San Francisco. Usually you begin to see kind of like weakness in the strike during those particular dates of this decade. But this one is also CAC certified. This is just an important coin for a registry set. And might I add, because of its age, it's probably a highly investable coin at that. This one right here is sold for $8,156.25. Kind of one of those very under the radar, quote unquote, dates, I would say, just based off of the fact that it's not like a 14D or a 1909 SVDB. This is one that not a lot of people know that even in this condition, and keep in mind, it's not a full red. You know, a lot of people don't know that this carries this kind of value. And believe it or not, these coins do exist in like old albums or maybe at a coin show. And, you know, for those people that don't know what they have, it could be a completely huge opportunity for a would-be cherry picker. And again, right here, another one, 1920D, although this one right here is, I would say, a little bit less appealing than the previous coin. If not for the fact that this is a full red example. I mean, who doesn't like a full red early 20s Lincoln cent? But this one, when you have the full red and you have a coin that is, you know, 100 years old, I mean, 101 years old, I mean, this thing's got some age now. When you have a coin of this particular age and in full red, you really begin to see the blemishes. And some of the most discerning Lincoln cent people, they want one as clean as they could get. But there are kind of like your sub-tier of collectors that will just take whatever is offered in the market. So this is the first coin that is featured of coming from the Sunset collection. They are on week number 148, so they have quite a few more weeks to go. This one right here is sold for $2,118.38. And the final Lincoln of the bunch is going to be this 1918D. Again, another tough date. This one is actually a PCGS Mint State 66 full red example. The Denvers of the teens are generally better found in full mint state red. It's only when you get to like the San Francisco minted coins where things begin to get a little bit more difficult to locate. This one right here is also CAC certified. It was once a part of the Jack Lee collection. If you guys don't know who Jack Lee is, he's one of the numismatists that's been around the block for quite some time, for many decades. He has collected some of the finest coins that you could possibly lay eyes on. This is one of them right here. And it even says so on the slab label. This one right here is sold for a blistering $15,187.50. All right, so we do have a couple nickels on tap here. We're going to start it off with a relatively ultra-modern coin. This is a 1984p. This is probably one of the more cleaner looking examples. This one grades out PCGS Mid-State 67 full steps. And this one here is based out of need. This is a coin that fits directly into a registry set. In no way would you ever buy this as an investment coin. I'm a firm believer that anything like post 1950 is really rolling the die. You know, it's a huge gamble to hold on to these for long term, just for the mere reason that, you know, at one point, a lot of these could flood the market. You know, there might be that one submitter that had come across a whole bunch of BU rolls of these coins, had sent them out to PCGS, and then the population reports just get all thrown out of whack. And that'll affect the value of these coins in the long term. So this one right here sold for $1,743.75. Now here's a little bit tougher grade, or date rather. This is a 51S. Now 51Ss generally have a little bit of a weak strike. Sometimes the luster is a little bit more muted compared to some of the other dates of the 50s. But this one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 full steps. More than likely this is directed toward the registry audience. And this one sold for $6,035.62. Same here with this one. 1948, although these are generally more well struck than some of the other dates, especially going into the 50s. 1940s Jeffersons are always pretty well struck. I had mentioned that before, but also they have fantastic luster. These coins just present a whole lot better than any other decade after. And I think we could attribute that to the wartime silver era from 1942 to 45, where the mint employees really took good care of the dies. So that kind of poured over in the subsequent years after the silver wartime nickel composition was over. And here is the result. Just a pleasing looking coin. This is another 67 full steps. And this one sold for $5,906.25. Yeah, we'll get to the next coin eventually. Here you go. This is another variety on the list, and this one is actually a cherry picker's guide variety. This is a beautiful coin. 1943 D over D RPM. And you can actually see the RPM is south of the primary. It just sticks out like a sore thumb. You might even be able to see something like this with the naked eye. But this one is graded NGC Mid-State 67 with 5 full steps. I will add it also has a little bit of a lamination planchet issue right here at K6 on the obverse. But all in all, if you needed a high-end example of this RPM, this is it right here. And this one is on the list for a reason. First of all, other than the grade, this is the single finest specimen through NGC, with only one other example matching the same grade value through PCGS. So there's only a couple of them out there to be had. This one right here is sold for $1,437.75. So we do have one Buffalo nickel, and this is a date that I like to refer to as the bridge. So 1930 is kind of like that kind of bridge date where it separates the really crappy struck Buffalo nickels of the 20s to some of the better looking examples of the 30s. Now, in 1930s, you could just pick any date that you choose. And more than likely, you could find a nice, brilliant, uncirculated example out there to be had where it's not encapsulated. All right, so there is a lot of opportunity for people that like to dabble in the 1930s Buffaloes for the real reason of simply sending it off to the graders. Because if you're able to pop like a 67 plus or a 68 on some of these coins, or a 66 for one of the more underrated dates of the series, then you could come away with a coin that's worth, $1,500 to $2,000 and up. There's really not a whole lot of work involved. You just need to have an eye for detail. And that's where having a good magnifier counts, and having great lighting. You want to make sure that your coin's not dipped or cleaned. That also is important. This one right here sold for $2,818.12, which is a fair amount of money for this coin. I could almost imagine how much this coin would be valued at in maybe a 66 plus or a 67. So this is not a top pop grade by any stretch, but it just gives you a whole lot of perspective on just the value of these coins. Not at the top grade, but maybe just a few points under that. So a lot of potential here, like I said. We do have one Rosie on tap, and it's this 1955D. Now, I've highlighted a similar 55 Roosevelt a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. That was pretty good in the toning department. Now, toning's not for everyone, but people that are into it, that really dig toning, will pay a huge premium for it. This one right here, keep in mind, is not a full split bands coin. It's just a mint state 67 plus. But where this one really shines is in the color department. This one right here sold for $1,687.50. This is a really pretty mercury dime. This is a 1940S example, and San Francisco minted mercs of the 40s are tough to find well struck. So finding one with full bands can be a little bit challenging, but here you go. We have a really pleasing example, and the grade is just dynamite. It's a 68 through PCGS. You see the FB for full bands. Just a really nice example. This one is also part of the Hallett collection of other mercury dimes, and I'm happy to say that this one brought home $3,487.50. The date in itself is not rare in mint state condition, so there is some opportunity to cherry pick one of these early 40s San Francisco minted coins, if and only if you can find them well struck. So here's the next kind of like what I consider to be high mintage coin. It's on this list for only one reason and one reason only, and that is registry. So this one right here, a 77D, is not what I consider to be the typical kind of like high-end, set your own price type of coin, but at the right grade. If you have a registry set, individual participant, and you have a few of them that are kind of button heads and engaging in a bidding war, then you'll have something like this. The amount of money that's sold for is quite staggering in my estimation. This right here is a 67 plus, and I do believe this is a top pop for this particular date, and this one sold for $3,888. 37S. Now, there's just a whole lot to love with early 90% silver, especially this one. This is a very clean looking coin. It's got a little bit of toning featured on these surfaces. It's all original and just a beauty. This one right here is an NGC Mint State 67. All right, so even NGC graded examples are getting a lot of love this week, and that's good to see. This is in a little bit older OGH holder. Never mind. It's in a little bit older NGC slab, and this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $2,068.88. All right, you guys ready for the last coin? Because it's going to be this beauty right here, a 1929D Standing Liberty quarter, and this one grades out PCGS Mid-State 64 full head, and it's also CAC certified. So even though it's one of the last final dates of Standing Liberty quarters, and as we know, there are a few dates from 28, 29, and 30 that are still very affordable in mint state condition. This is one of them right here. However, the Denver mints and any other, I guess, date or branch mint for these last 3 years of the Standing Liberty quarter is a little bit challenging to find with full head. All right, and that's highlighted by actual hair detail, and you can actually see an ear hole, which are a few of the kind of like qualifications that PCGS and NGC use to determine full head characteristics. This one right here is a unbelievably nice looking example. It looks every bit of 64. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch, but this will give you guys some insight and perspective on how much kind of like the tier 2, tier 3 level of coins go for in this condition, especially some of the more condition sensitive, kind of like tougher dates for full strikes. So this one right here sold for $2,926.12. Just a really beautiful coin, and if you were looking for a type coin, this is probably one that I would certainly choose over any other date from the earlier 20s, which can be extremely difficult to find, especially in full head. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it this week on the Monday Market Report for the week ending May 10th, 2021. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Would love to hear your thoughts on today's report. What did you guys think? And most importantly, I hope you guys aren't working too hard on your Monday. Summer is fast approaching, so we all need to get prepped up for that. And coin collecting will continue to forge on in such a strong, positive way. And it'll be my pleasure to continue to deliver some of the goods for you on these auction reports. It was a lot of fun. I'm your host, Sean, again, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, smack that bell for instant notifications. And Coinaholics, we are discovering together each and every single day. You guys take care, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.